A few weeks ago, I was scrolling on social media when I saw this photo. Oh cool, it's Ryan Gosling on the set of an upcoming Star Wars movie. Oh, and there's a kid with him. Wait a minute. They're doing it again! Okay, let's play a game. I'm gonna give you a quick summary of a popular TV show, and you have to guess what show it is that I am talking about. So there's this cool, rugged, grumpy guy, and he's kind of a loner. But suddenly, by some twist of fate, he is tasked with protecting something, or rather, someone. This special person also happens to be a child, and it would be very bad if they were to fall into the wrong hands. Sound familiar? I bet it does, because that's the plot of like half of the recent Star Wars shows. Like, am I going crazy? Am I the only one noticing this? Why is every single Star Wars show the same story over and over again? And why is it this specific type of story? I guess in order to understand why this trope is so popular, we should look at the very first Star Wars show to do it, and that would be The Mandalorian. This show definitely does the father-child dynamic the best, I think. I really do like Grogu, and I do like Din's relationship with him. I also like that Grogu isn't completely helpless. Like, at the beginning of the show, he kind of is at the beginning of the show. By the most recent season, he's doing all sorts of crazy Force abilities and whatever. And I don't know, maybe with season 3, they went a little overboard. Like, at one point, Grogu's, like, driving an IG-11 mech. But overall, I do like his dynamic with Din. I think that the two characters are really fun together. And I think that this show does it the best because when it did feel kind of novel. Like, the trope had not been beaten into the ground at this point, especially in the first season when the show first came out. I feel like it was an interesting idea. And the fact that the child, or Grogu, ended up being like a Yoda species, like it had a lot of elements that made it really intriguing. I still am here for that one. I'm excited to see that dynamic in the Mandalorian movie. I don't know. I feel like it's definitely one of the strongest parts of that show. But then after the Mandalorian, we had another version of that trope, and it was put into the Bad Batch of all things. This was really interesting because the Bad Batch, when they were first introduced to us, it was actually in the Clone Wars. There was a 4-episode arc that had them with Anakin Skywalker and Captain Rex going and saving Echo, I believe, from his prison or whatever. And in that, I mean, there was no indication that there was going to be a character like Omega. And so, like, that was kind of an unexpected plot, especially I remember watching it. And I do remember when I first watched this show thinking, oh, that's interesting. That's kind of similar to The Mandalorian, about this character Hunter, who is he's kind of the leader of the Bad Batch, I guess. And it's the show kind of becomes about his relationship with Omega, especially in like that first season. It's definitely very heavy on them protecting this child. And what makes the child special? Well, she is the only female clone, you know, and at least when the first season happens. And I just think that's interesting. And I think that it's interesting that show would lean into that specific story right on the heels of The Mandalorian. Okay, so you have a live action show that features a dad and son bond, and then you have a animated TV show that features a dad and daughter bond. Okay, you know what? That's different enough. Grogu doesn't really talk. Omega does talk. She's more of a member of the team. She's more of a fleshed out character. So you know what? Maybe you can kind of excuse that. But then, like a year later, we get the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show. And in this TV show, it essentially does the same thing again. It's kind of a hybrid of the two, honestly. It's like Grogu mixed with Omega a little bit, where we have Obi-Wan protecting little Leia. And this one is just so bizarre to me. I don't know why the Obi-Wan show went in this direction. It is established in episode 4 that Leia does know who Obi-Wan Kenobi is. She mentions him by name in the hologram that Luke Skywalker finds while he's like cleaning R2-D2. But there was never really an indication that she was like BFFs with him, you know? Like, she mentions that he knew her father and that they served together in the Clone Wars, right?
Years ago, you served my father in the Clone Wars. Now he begs you to help him in his struggle against the Empire.
You feel like if she actually went on a mission with him and he saved her from Fortress Inquisitorius, that like she would mention that before mentioning her dad, especially if she was like 8 years old. Like she would have pretty good memories of that event, right? I feel like a traumatic event like that, maybe she's suppressing it. I don't know. It's just interesting that like by putting Leia in that show and by like doing this trope again, they made a plot hole in A New Hope where there didn't need to be one. At worst, it's a plot hole, and at best, it's just an extra layer of confusion when you're watching that scene. And that leads me back to this photo, right, that I talked about at the beginning of the video. And what we see in this photo is Ryan Gosling with a kid. And immediately, I will admit, I'm a little bit nervous that they're gonna try to do this same trope again. You know, like, are they really going to do another story where we have a rugged, cool guy just like adopting a kid? Like, are we doing it again? Like, are we doing it again?
So we didn't learn. We didn't learn from last time. We didn't. So we didn't learn.
Why are we doing it again? If that is actually what this ends up being, I'm gonna be kind of annoyed, I feel like, because there are so many other stories that you can tell in this huge universe, especially if this is going to be one of the very first Star Wars movies that is completely like original. This is like the most standalone Star Wars movie, and we're still going to do this trope that we've been doing for every other thing. Like, I mean, if you really want to be annoying about it, you could say that they've been doing this since the Clone Wars animated movie. In that movie, like, the plot centers around them trying to protect Jabba's son from Count Dooku. It's been done to death in Star Wars, and I'm just ready for something else. And so I am begging you, Disney, please make their relationship something else. Make them like brothers. I don't know, just anything, just so it doesn't feel like it's the same story of a jaded old guy defending a child. Like, it just feels like, it's like, is that the only story that we could tell as Star Wars these days? It just feels a little bit creatively bankrupt to me. I don't know. Anyway, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. What do you think about this trope? Do you feel like Disney Star Wars has been overusing it a little bit? Or do you like the trope and do you want to see them do more stuff like this? Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.